So Linchpin, as I said, unfortunately, the word picked up by the author is not so great because the word is not in common vocabulary. So Linchpin technically is that pin which is inserted in a bullock cart wheel, so which is responsible for the whole cart to be in balance. If you remove that pin, the cart will collapse, right? So it's like the cornerstone. So it is metaphorically used in other facets, other areas of life. Like we always have that one employee in the company who is indispensable. I mean, the boss will not do, will go to any extent to retain him. If he puts down paper, he will double his salary or do whatever to retain him. So he is the linchpin, or he or she is the linchpin for the organization. The book is primarily based on linchpin as a person, but I would go beyond it, that how can we make our organization as a linchpin in your own industry? See, whether you are a summary guy, a booklet guy, dealing into you are a fitness trainer, selling fish online, automobile spare part dealer, or LED lamps, doesn't matter. Okay, you can make your organization a linchpin organization. Uh, Last month, I got my book printed, 3,000 copies of my book. Usually I print only 1,000, 2,000, but because of all you guys, a huge demand consistently, I am able to sell 10 to 20 copies per week. And that is the main source which takes care of 3 households, including Farid's. Okay, his salary, the IT guy's salary. I don't take salary, by the way, from Booklet. And so something happened which is related to the topic of today's book. You know, I know many young startups, whether they are into innovative startups or traditional startups, as I said, uh, uh, wholesale business of automobile spare parts or LED lights. Uh, Many old startups which are still startups for last 10 years, they kind of hit a plateau. And that plateau is like for years, 2 years, 3 years, they are into a plateau. They don't see any great growth. Forget about the geometric growth in geometric progression, not even arithmetic progression. You know the difference between GM and AM? Geometric progression is 2, 4, 8, 16, 32. This is geometric progression. Whereas arithmetic progression is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. This is arithmetic progression. Yeah. Whatever. I don't see any growth and they hit a plateau. And my printer is a very good example. So my printer who prints my book is amazing technically. Okay, he's flawless. Okay, the defective rate is at minimum in the industry. He runs a family business. His grandfather started a printing business, but he's at the same level for decades. He has not grown. And I was wondering that in spite of technically being sound, why has he not grown? Guys, please switch on the cameras. Varsha, Binal, Ashwini, Padma, Kavita, Sandhya. Sandhya is my sister. Thanks, Ashwini. Thanks, Binal. Okay. Oh, all. Why majority of them are girls? I don't understand. Sushil, you and I are in minority, by the way. All right. And so I was wondering why this printer who is so technically sound has not grown big in his industry. And something happened last week. So we got the 3,000 books printed. And he said to Farid, when he was about to make the payment for all the 3,000 books, he said, Farid, वो usually 2,000 copies का लोग ऑनलाइन पेमेंट करते हैं, चेक से करते हैं, और 1,000 copies का कैश से करते हैं. So you can do it, you are open to do it. And Farid came to me and said that ऐसा ऐसा वो बोले. I said, did you ask कैसा होता है क्या? No, he only said कि ऐसा इंडस्ट्री में होता है कि थोड़ा कैश में पेमेंट होता है, थोड़ा चेक से होता है, to reduce the GST. And I found the answer that why he has not grown. Now see, most of the time we focus on the product and service, that I'll give better features. Okay, if you are into say LED lights, Now, how can I bring more innovation? How can I give a better price to my clients? Yeah, how can I fetch the best quality lights from China? But everybody is doing this. Everybody is focusing. Your counterparts in your industry is doing the same thing. So how can we stand out as Linchpin or the purple cow? And the lesson that I learned from the printer is that we start the business. Okay, we badly want clients. We want to grow. We want to grow business. And so somebody asked for a bill without GST. Yeah, and we said, okay, 40,000 का order है, तो चलो तुरंत कर देते हैं. And that's the problem. See, it's a choice between instant gratification or delayed gratification. Okay, a person who says, okay, I'm ready to give you, I'm ready to do the business in cash. I'll give you bill without GST, so that we are new startups. And then what happens is that client will most probably refer to another client who will also demand a kacha bill, cash transaction. Or aise karte karte karte, you won't come to know that your majority of clients are dealing in cash. So if you take a stand on this, that I will not do any business on cash because I believe that my business is a medium to nation building. And now, fortunately, that we have got a non-corrupt national leadership, I think my business is just a medium for nation building. And you say this to the client that I'm not going, not just say that I'm not going to give you a cash business or non-GST bill, because you have to tell the why. And because I believe in my country's development, and you no, you put down the offer, you say no to that client. This is called as moral courage. So there are two types of courage. One is physical courage and another is moral courage. Physical courage is very common to see. Yeah, अरे तू बोल सिर्फ लफड़ा रहेगा तो मैं आऊंगा हॉकी स्टिक लेके वगैरह. I'm not talking about physical courage. I'm talking about moral courage, which is in extreme scarce supply. It is scarcely available today. Where you rise up for the occasion and speak when most of the people choose to remain silent. And we have legendary people in the history who stood up for an occasion and spoke where most of the people chose to remain silent. So at that time, when a person demands a cash business and you say no to him, okay, then probably he will spread this word. ये लोग थोड़े अलग है, हाँ, ये cash में धंधा नहीं करते. And this is how over a long period of time, people like Tatas are born. Right? Tatas are not doing something extremely different when it comes to products and services. Their ACs are, Voltas AC is same like Daikin and Videocon, not extraordinarily better. But when Tata offers a new product or service, what is the feeling that we develop in our mind? It's about reliability, trust. They stand for clean money. They prove that we defy this Western philosophy that the end justifies the means. No, our Indian philosophy does not subscribe to this Western philosophy that end subscribes to the end justifies the means. How we make money is as important as having made money. Right? And so, these दो नंबर का धंधा वाला, उनको पैनल पे रखते ही नहीं है टाटा वाले. I know many people who work in Tata and what kind of culture they maintain in their company. And so coming back to that printer guy, where he must be wondering why he's not growing. He has no idea. Because your cash business will grow, maybe 50% of your clients are cash, your on the books company will remain small. And then you'll not get a good funder. Funder आएगा पर वो भी 1 करोड़ 2 करोड़ का रहेगा या वो भी कैश वाला रहेगा. It will be a corrupt politician वो बोलेगा मेरे पास 2 करोड़ ले लो. And this is how you are lost in that feedback loop. All right. So I got a very good mentor who advised me that never go for this cash business. You grow your business on paper, grow your balance sheet, and then this great venture capitalist of 1,000 crores, 5,000 crores will take interest in you. And this is how IPOs come. All right. One example where I was under test to whether to show my moral courage or not was while writing my book. Habit number 6. I was in a dilemma whether I should include habit number 6 or change it and put some other habit. Habit number 6, if you know, is read and pass it on. Now, I know most of my friends are so possessive about their books that they don't want to part with their books. नहीं नहीं वो books वापस नहीं करते, वो खराब करते हैं, खो देते हैं. Yes, I know. But then it was about being true to my value. If I picked up my core value as unselfishness, as generosity, then I have to make it part of my book. And that's exactly what happened. I took that moral courage stand, and maximum feedbacks came on the habit number 6. They said, most of the readers said that I don't agree with the habit number 6. I'm not going to give it, but I like your stand that yes, giving is good. Yeah, once I agree that once you read the book, you digest the knowledge, and if you keep the book on the bookshelf, the book is dead. Give it to your friends, make them read. All right. So writing the book was about me, about my values, not about the readers. All right. If I thought about the 1,000 readers, prospective readers, I would have diluted the main message of the book, right? And would have thought that this is just information available on Google. And that's what most of the authors make this mistake. They Google and take the information from the internet. Okay, I'm sorry. So I hope you understand that it is not that you have to work hard on the product and service to stand out as a unique player in your industry. Now, many people say that पर मैं तो बस एक traditional business में हूँ, automobile spare parts, I am selling fish online. So how can I bring such epic meaning calling or a higher purpose in my business? You are doing a divine job of making India read, so it is very natural to you. No. Had I been into selling toilet papers, I would have brought a higher purpose in that as well. And the best example is Nitin Kamath. I got exposed to him recently, the founder of Zerodha. Zerodha is a stock brokerage firm, Zero Dalali. So he combined the two words, Zerodha. Now, if you see, his app is normal. It's a trading app. Website is normal. Nothing great. And in last 10 years, just 10 years, he has become the number 1 stockbroker of India. And we have some 50-year-old traditional stockbrokers like Motilal Oswal, Sher Khan. He has thrown them behind in the competition. And you know what he did? So I was in stock market for 10 years, and I know the kind of culture we had in stockbroking. Literally, client ko bakra करके बोलते थे. They used to, my sales team used to denote it as नया बकरा मिला. And this was like a shake chilli. आप खुद के पैर पे कुल्हाड़ी मारने जैसा हुआ ना, कि you want your business to grow and clients is ideally your god, and you call them bakra. So that means genuinely that you're deceiving your client. And so coming out with tips, buy Reliance, sell Axis Bank, so that there is a lot of churning, because the more transactions, more buying and selling the clients do, the more brokerage we get as a brokering firm. Nitin Kamath did exactly the opposite. I recommend you to watch his interviews, and I could relate myself with him. I mean, if I was a stockbroker and continued in stock market, I would have shaped up the firm similarly the way he did. And you know what he says? I have been in the stock market for the last 20 years. I have no clue how markets work. The owner of a stockbroking firm admits, I have no clue where Nifty will go tomorrow. He had the moral courage to say this when most of the broking firms say that we are experts in predicting markets. Even God can go wrong in stock market. They say that even monkeys fall from trees, so trade with stop loss. Stop loss is a technical word. And he says that we never advise clients to buy stocks because we don't know whether the stock will go up, but we help them to make some less money mistakes. Look at the humility, the language that he uses. We help our clients to make less money mistakes. That means he admits that he doesn't know everything about stock markets, but there are some common money mistakes that most of the naive, novice traders commit. and we help them to make some better decisions when it comes to money. And the stand that he took is that the most dangerous mistake a new novice trader does is they get into penny stocks. 2 रुपए 3 रुपए के स्टॉक्स रहते हैं ना, उसमें बहुत कम इन्वेस्टमेंट में बड़ा पैसा कभी कभी आता है, कभी कभी और पूरा पोर्टफोलियो भी खाली हो सकता है, कंगाल होते हैं लोग. And it's a big, I had done this mistake when I was a new investor in stock market. And so he educated his clients that please don't deal into penny stocks. Now it was directly detrimental to his business because all the novice traders invest in penny stocks and lose all their money. The only person that makes money is the broker in the form of commissions. And he educated all of them that please don't trade in penny stocks. And that education program helped, and actually 75% of trading by his clients in penny stocks dropped. It was a direct attack on his own revenue. See, between instant gratification and delayed gratification, he opted the delayed gratification. Got it? This is all we have to do in business, right? And that's why we respect Tatas. We think that Tata comes with the best quality products. No, they might have the same quality that others offer, but then it's about the trust that they have built by taking these small decisions. Yeah. Of 3 months ago, I was approached by a startup where they said that we are into buying, selling, and renting of used books. And they had some amazing portal. I got excited. What a perfect blend. Now I am on mission Make India Read. They have got this amazing technical tool which help people to upload their used books, and then you can buy, sell, or rent out your used books or books that you have already read. And because the what matched, I embraced them. I met first meeting, second meeting, third meeting. We came out with a great strategy that I'll promote your business on my platform. Then whenever I go for talks across India, you put a stall of your startup, used books and book exchange, vagara, vagara. Everything was going smoothly. Great posters of authors in their office with quotes and all. And in the third meeting, I asked the founder that, so how about the employees? We have a bunch of 15 employees in the company. How many of them are reading? Like, I'm struggling with, they're not reading much. Let's start from here. All right. So let's have a session where I will talk about the 7 habits and I'll inspire them, share my story. And from there we will start, because charity begins at home. And you know what? He never turned back. He never came back. For him, book was just a commodity. वो book रहेगा या फिर वो कुछ भी हो सकता है, फिर या फिर toilet paper हो सकता है. Right? So when you stand, needless to mention, I broke ties with him and I don't care about him anymore. So when you think that you stand for your production services, the business will be short term. You always stand above the production services for the higher purpose. I'll give you a simple example. So in olden days, there were no refrigerators, there were no ice factories, nothing. And there were people called icebreakers. So icebreakers were people who, in winters, when the rivers get frozen, their job was to break the ice, put it in the trucks, and sell it to all the households or factories for industrial purpose or household purpose. For many years, this business was in boom. There was huge margins because the ice was needed for fish storage, ice was needed at home, whatever. Well, people who thought that they are icebreakers, they thought that we stand for ice, for the service of ice breaking. Okay. And then came the technology of creating artificial ice in ice factories. So there was an invention where they understood that you need not depend on rivers to be frozen in winters. You can drop the temperature to a minimum level and create your own ice in a factory. I'm talking about old times, okay? And so those who thought that we are icebreakers, they were wiped out from the competition. And those who thought, no, we stand for keeping things cold. No, we stand uh, for 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 making other products durable, like fish. So they stood for something above the product. They did not identify themselves as icebreakers, but as a service which stands for making things colder. All right, and those who stood for that, started their own ice factories. And those who thought that no, we are icebreakers, were wiped out from the competition. Now, second stage, and then somebody invented personal refrigerator. Now, invention of personal refrigerator was a huge thing in those days. Abhi, having a fridge at home is so common, but think on those days. So there are people who thought that we stand for ice factories, again were wiped out from the competition. And those who were for the higher purpose, they started manufacturing refrigerators. So the person who was standing for the higher purpose started from icebreaker, then came to as ice factory, and then personal refrigeration. What is the common thing? You know that I can't explain in the exact words, but you understand that person who had a different mindset will last for a long period of time. Music, when Apple disrupted music industry, right? Initially, when the people who were in the music industry thought that we stand for these CDs and discs and floppies, were wiped out from the business, but who thought that we are selling music as an art, they adopted the new technology, and they collaborated with iTunes from Apple. People who thought that we are standing for discs and floppies and DVDs were wiped out, and people who thought that we are for art, selling art called music, they adopted a new technology. Got it? This is very important. Books, there was disruption in books by Amazon. Yeah. People, publishers who thought that we are selling this bunch of papers sandwiched in a cardboard were wiped out. And those who thought that no, we stand for the ideas of the authors, the fantasy world of the fiction writers, they adopted the new technology called Kindle and collaborated with Amazon. Now you understand that you don't stand for the product and services, you stand for the higher purpose above your product and services. Find out that higher purpose. And hence, when I understood this, I stopped talking about Booklet app and I started talking about the reading habit. Tomorrow, if Android is banned, say for example, is banned by Narendra Modi in India, as a hypothetical, मैं क्या करूंगा? Booklet app का क्या मैं आचार बनाऊं? Yeah, but now that I know I stand for reading habit, I'll immediately go for some different what. I'll adopt some another technology. Got it? So your what's can change. In fact, you can change your product and services, but your higher purpose should not change. Like my what's are my book, 7 Habits, Booklet app, my sessions. I travel around across the country to inspire people. These are all my what's. But the common higher purpose is everywhere visible. All right. So I think coming back to the moral courage, which is in scarce supply. So let's take a stand where if I was invited at an alcohol party as a chief guest, and I insisted on orange juice, and there was no juice, and I said, okay, Phil, I'll not have anything, and they said, okay, thoda so to le lo na, but I said, no, I don't drink. I could have budged it. I could have said, okay, थोड़ा चलता है, उसमें क्या है, इतना क्यों नखरा करने का, लोगों को क्या लगेगा, right? See, I'm not talking about drinking or not drinking. I'm talking about me, that I don't drink. That's my part of philosophy. And so I took a stand. All right. And you know what happened? On the very next day, I got a call from a stranger that I saw that you insisted on orange juice. And I'm a habitual drinker, and you inspired me. And now I'm thinking of quitting alcohol. So when you take a stand, you become a leader. You can do this in business. So see what is the most common practice in your industry and challenge it and do the opposite. Now, what I observed, so when I got this idea of book summary, how can I be a teacher of these books which are not taught in schools and colleges? See, basically, there was a hidden teacher in me. All right. But I know there are thousands of teachers out there, and I'm a chartered accountant. I was teaching CA students. Right? Then I thought that why teach only debits and credits? Why not teach these big ideas from Linchpin and Monk Who Sold His Ferrari and Sudha Murthy and Rich Dad Poor Dad, which are not part of our school at college syllabus. Most of the teachers teach college syllabus. I teach non-college syllabus. And I become a Linchpin. I challenge what is common in the industry. Then I observed the most common thing about content creators. I never wanted to be called as a content creator, to be identified as a influencer, content creator, जो लोग है ना net पे सब हो रहा है. I observed what is the common thing. Everybody is creating a content, whether it is YouTube, podcast, but it is taken from something, from some book or other video. The underlying is some book only, and they never mention about it. They modify it in their own language, and then they say that 10 tips to read faster, 10 tips to become a better father, 10 tips on parenting. Yeah, these are very common. 10 ways to become rich. वो कहीं ना कहीं रिच डैड पुअर डैड से ही लिया रहता है, पर वो they don't give the credit. I turned this idea on its head. मैंने उसको उल्टा किया कि okay, this is the book, this is the author, I am just a stupid messenger. Now, suddenly, I'm not compared with any of the content creator because I just changed the approach where everybody was showing that it was their original content. I admitted that I'm not a creator. I'm just a stupid person who is summarizing the book for you. And suddenly, I'm a different person in your mind. You get it? Simple things. You don't have to innovate like Elon Musk in order to stand out. उतनी मेहनत करने की जरूरत नहीं. Let Elon Musk work hard. I can't work so much hard as Elon Musk does. Impossible for me. Another important point I learned from this book was that passion is person-oriented and not project-oriented. Means what? If you undo the career of Shah Rukh Khan by 40, 50 years and put him in his teenage, in his teens, and make him play football and recreate his career as a footballer, he would have grown at the same level in football, the level at which he is in Bollywood. Are you getting my point? Passion is person-oriented, not skill-oriented or project-oriented. All right. If you put Sachin, undo the career of Sachin and put him as a writer, he would have grown at the same level as Chetan Bhagat is today, perhaps. Are you getting my point? So, and we think that passion means do something that you love to do something that you are great at. No, that's the biggest misconception of the word passion. The word passion comes from a Latin word called pati, P-A-T-I, which means suffering. I think it's almost opposite of excitement. Suffering. And I was like, what? Passion means suffering? हम तो अलग तरीके से use करते हैं. Passion means जिसमें आपको जोश आता है काम करने को, right? So actually, we think that mastery stems from passion. Yeah? No, it's the other way around. Passion stems from mastery, which means whatever you do initially, you are not great at it. Sachin must not have hit a 6 on the first stroke of his life. He must have struggled, right? And then he practiced, suffered, coach ki galiya khai, improved on that straight drive, and then he became great at it. He mastered the skill of hitting 4s and 6s, and then as a result, we call him as a passionate cricketer. So passion is the result and not the cause. If passion is the result and not the cause, then what you do doesn't matter. Because anyway, initially you are going to struggle. It will be uncomfortable. Like when I learned driving for the first time, like 10, 15, 20 years ago, I struggled. अरे बाप रे, एक्सीलेटर भी देखना है, क्लच भी देखना है, ब्रेक भी देखना है, और वो एफएम को भी चेंज करना है, नीचे पैर में भी वो 3 बटन है, बाप रे. I felt so overwhelmed. But आज everything is happening mechanically. खिड़की नीचे वो गाड़ी पे कौन सी लड़की बैठी है, ये सब सब जगह पे ध्यान है. एवरीथिंग इज हैपनिंग सो स्मूथली, राइट? That means I initially suffered, I did not quit, and that's why now it's easy. Of course, I'm not a passionate driver because I didn't want to become Michael Schumacher. So I'm happy with the plateau. Okay, but the first 100 books of my life were very difficult. But because I got into it, I read, experimented a lot with my reading life, speed reading, visualization, everything. Now that I've become a great reader, as a result, the world calls me as a passionate reader. It's not that first I was passionate and now I become a master. I first become a great reader, and as a result, you call me as a passionate reader. Passion is the result and not the cause. And so people who waste their life in finding their passion is now out of question. Right? You don't have to find, you have to just get started with any stupid thing and stick to it. Suffer, and gradually you become great at it. And then you will be described, and the adjective called passionate will be used for your name. If Dhoni would have put into chess, perhaps, and stuck to it, he would have practiced chess. तो आज chess में वो माहिर होता. All right. But I can't prove this, right? I can't undo anybody's career. I can't go back 10 years and recreate that, okay, if I had have continued stock market, I would have become as big as Zerodha. I can't prove it. Right? It will be just a fictional work. All right. And so a very interesting quote I read from a book called The Greatest Salesman of the World. Very tiny little book of 50 pages. That if you collect all the wealth of the entire world from rich and poor and redistribute it to everybody equally, I repeat, it's a hypothetical situation. If I collect the wealth of the entire world from everybody, rich and poor, and redistribute that wealth equally amongst everybody in the world, then the people who were previously rich will again become rich, and the people who were previously poor will again become poor. And that's what the quote says, that passion is person-oriented and not project-oriented. We think that Michael Phelps was born for swimming. We think that Amitabh Bachchan was born for acting. Maybe to 20%, yes, Michael Phelps' body was conducive for swimming. Okay. But then Amitabh Bachchan, we think that because of his height and voice. No, we have opposite examples. We have Amir Khan, who is half of his size. Right? There are other things. All right. And so I'll tell you, give you some simple examples. Simple examples. Small professional people who became linchpin by finding something different and doing something differently instead of trying to become technically better than others in their industry. For example, I read this from a book written by Maulana Wahiduddin Khan, The Secret of Success. So there was a doctor's clinic in a village, and he was not even a great doctor. I mean, he was an MBBS, not even an MD. There were other doctors who were better educated than him, but most of the villagers went to that doctor only. You know what he used to do? So usually when the doctor enters the clinic, all the patients namaste karte hai aise, right? ये उल्टा करता था. डॉक्टर सबको इंडिविजुअली जाके नमस्ते करते थे कि थैंक यू फॉर कमिंग, okay, I'll try my best to cure you. So, and then he used to enter his cabin. So what he did is he showed humility, which is a rarely available amongst this or any profession, I would say. And people used to go for him for him being down to earth, not for his technical skills. Technical skills anyway is assumed. वो तो चाहिए. अगर मेरी बीमारी दूर नहीं होगी तो मैं नहीं जाऊंगा. That is understood. But see how he became a linchpin in his industry by a simple thing. So one of the patients saw this कि ये सब लोग इसके पास ही जा रहे हैं, तो मुझे समझा कि ये क्यों जा रहे हैं. पर मैं तो एक ग्रोसरी वाला हूँ, एक शॉपकीपर हूँ, मैं क्या अलग करूँ? And then he came out with an idea. He observed it. What is the common thing that most of the shopkeepers do is, if you give an old Patawa note to the shopkeeper, what is the most obvious reply? ये मत दो, बदल के दो, ये 10 रुपए का नोट नहीं चलेगा, right? What he started doing is, now see, he picked up that value. You call it value or moral courage, I don't know. He decided that I'll give only brand new notes to my customers, regardless of what kind of notes they give. I'll never say no to an old note. I'll take the effort to go to the bank and exchange the currency. And you know what happened? Everybody started noticing कि अगर नए नोट चाहिए तो उसी शॉप में जाएंगे अभी. So more customers started visiting his shop, and then people started giving him new notes because he showed his humility. He showed some unselfishness in his behavior. अब इसमें ग्रोसरी आइटम्स, क्वालिटी, प्राइस, सब कुछ लेना देना है ही नहीं. What an interesting anecdote, right? A postman, I read this in a book called The Fred Factor. एक सिंपल पोस्टमैन में अभी क्या इनोवेशन. इतना पुराना प्रोफेशन है पोस्टमैन का. दैट पोस्टमैन, यू नो, ही वेंट बियॉन्ड हिज बेसिक ड्यूटीज. और वो क्या करता था मालूम है? कि सपोज किसी के घर में वो देख रहा है कि 3-4 खत वैसे ही पड़े हैं, मतलब अभी तक ओनर ने को निकाले नहीं है, दरवाजे के जो नीचे गैप में वैसे ही पड़े, या फिर पोस्ट का जो दोस्त, व्हाट डू कॉल इट, मेल बॉक्स में वो, इट इज गेटिंग पाइल्ड अप, ऑल द मेल्स आर गेटिंग पाइल्ड अप. एंड देन द रॉबर्स कम टू नो दैट द पीपल इन दिस family are out on a vacation, and that's why the mails are getting piled up and there is a high chance of robbery. So what he used to do is, he used to call those people कि these getting piled up, so there is a high chance of robbery. तो मैंने क्या किया, मैंने उसको निकाल के मेरे पास रखे हैं, आप जब वापस आओगे तो मैं आपको दूंगा. Whereas he was not required to do this. And he was so famous. I think he was in New York City. You should read this book called Fred Factor. I have summarized it in Booklet app. जितने भी बुक्स मैंने नाम लिए वो है ही समरी में. But if postman can do this, तो हम तो बहुत अच्छे अच्छे प्रोफेशन में है भाई. Right? There is something called no-show rate in airline business. You know what is no-show rate? So I was, when I was thinking of my career after stock markets, I was learning data analytics, big data analytics and statistics, because I love numbers, number crunching. So I was thinking of making a career in data science, big data science and data analytics. So I was taking courses on data analytics back then, I think 10 years ago. And when I was learning that, I was into that course, the teacher talked about this no-show rate in airline business, where suppose the flight has a capacity of 300 seats, for example, and they do a regression analysis through lots of data, that it happens that 10% of customers, 10% of passengers don't show up. Either they miss out the flight because there is traffic, or the business meetings get cancelled, or they change the flight, whatever it is. 10% is the most conservative no-show rate. So 10% of 300 is 30 seats. That means, on an average, the flight has 30 seats empty whenever it takes off. Only 270 are occupied. So why lose the business of those 30 seats? And so they, based on this data analytics, they oversell the tickets. They sell 320 tickets or 330 tickets, even if they have 300 seats on the flight. Are you getting me? Now, you must have observed, आपकी जिंदगी में कभी हुआ रहेगा कि आप ज्यादा भी लेट नहीं हो, ठीक है, बोर्डिंग टाइम थोड़ा शुरू हो गया है, गेट क्लोज हुआ है, लेकिन सामने फ्लाइट है, टेक ऑफ भी नहीं हुआ है, दे डोंट अलाउ यू, नहीं नहीं नहीं, इट्स टू लेट वगैरह बोलते. इट्स बिकॉज इन द रेयर ओकेजन everybody shows up, all the 300 passengers show up, and they have sold 330 tickets, and they can't say this to you because वो झोल है, आइडियली वो झोल है, राइट? ऐसा बहुत रेयर ओकेजन है. मेरी लाइफ में एक बार आया था ऐसा, और मुझे पता था ये नो शो का नाटक है, but they somehow upgraded my ticket to some other airlines. And so now, don't you think this is moving away from your own values? On one hand, you stand for flying human beings from point A to point B. And on the other hand, you don't want 30 people to come and be on board the flight. ये तो गलत है ना? If I was the owner of the airlines, I will never go for this no show rate analysis. I'll never. In fact, I objected during that course also that I don't agree. Although I learned the regression analysis, I don't agree with the values of the airlines. All right. And the teacher said, okay, don't get agitated. Now, Southwest Airlines is one of the domestic airlines in America. You know, इसका example almost सब books में आता है. Southwest Airlines. और उन्होंने क्या सोचा कि now see the exactly opposite of this no show rate dhanda. They really want people not to miss the flight. So they started studying what is the main reason people miss out the flight, because they are my customers. I should care for them. If they have booked a flight on my airlines, I should take care of that they should be on board on time. And they realized that it is usually traffic jam. People leave the home or office on time, but they can't reach because of traffic jams. जैसे मुंबई में होता है वैसे न्यूयॉर्क में भी ट्रैफिक होते होंगे उस जमाने में. You know what they did? Oh, I was amazed to read this. An airline business, they started a bus service. And they started picking up their passengers from some common places or from the residences. And now I would love to have such airline, because I live in Thane, and Terminal 1, Terminal 2 takes almost 45 minutes or 1 hour when non-peak time. Peak time, it takes 2 hours for me. And I get amazing amount of anxiety of missing the flight. I have this phobia of missing the flight. I get dreams the night prior, and my nose starts running because of this phobia of missing the flight. Now, if they have a bus service, it is their responsibility that I should be on board. If the flight misses, I know that I'm going to get another flight. Right? What a caring management, what a caring leadership. Very good example of taking a stand, showing moral courage, and talking about it when most of the people choose to remain silent. Now, I took this idea and I'm mentoring Jayesh, who is a fitness trainer running a gym, that what is the most common problem for people for not showing up in the gym? See how I have this habit of dynamically thinking, using the idea of that bus service in some other industry which is nowhere related to airlines. अभी सुबह सबको जिम में आना है, सबको एक्सरसाइज करना है. आई नो एवरीबडी बिलीव्स इन एक्सरसाइजिंग, पर साला होता नहीं है, वो सुबह उठना होता नहीं है. तो 6 बजे उठना इज द टफेस्ट जॉब. आई नो, मुझे भी सबको लगता है आई एम वेरी सेल्फ डिसिप्लिन घंटा. नो, आई एम नॉट एट ऑल अ सेल्फ मोटिवेटेड पर्सन. आई नो माई वीकनेसेस एंड सो आई क्रिएट सच थिंग्स अराउंड मी कि मुझे अभी उठना ही पड़ेगा. इफ आई नो माई फ्रेंड्स आर गोइंग टू कम ऑन माई टेरेस टू एक्सरसाइज, इफ आई डोंट शो अप, तो मुझे चुल्लू भर पानी में डूबना पड़ेगा ना. आई लूज ऑल द रिस्पेक्ट. So the fact that I accepted that weakness, then I started finding the solution. Whereas most of the people spend their entire life thinking that I will get the willpower tomorrow to wake up at 6 o'clock. और willpower कभी नहीं आता है. Okay, that is not the point I wanted to emphasize. So what I told Jayesh is that we know the weakness is lack of motivation to wake up, to push your butt off the bed at 6 o'clock in the morning. How about starting a pickup service? No gym does this. अगर मेरे घर पे मेरा जिम ट्रेनर दरवाजे पे नॉक करेगा, मेरी क्या मजाल, राइट? कि मैं ना बोलूं और मैं सो रहा हूं. नो, आई फील सो अशेम्ड. मैंने ही फी भरी है और मैं ही ना बोल रहा हूँ. बेचारा सामने दरवाजे पे आया है, वो या फिर उसकी टीम जो भी है. And I'll come to know he cares for me. He cares for my health, right? What a wonderful idea. See, I don't know whether it will work or not, but what's harm in trying? Experiment. I experiment so much in my life. And then out of 10, 8 experiments won't work, 2 will work. And this is how the app features or new ideas that come to you. The successful ones come to you. The unsuccessful ones are trashed before they come to you. But I keep experimenting. Now you start thinking, what is the most common malpractice in your industry, challenge it, challenge the status quo, and do the opposite. I have another example. Uh, you're on a board of an aerated drink. You are going to start an aerated drink. So कोला वाला रहता है ना, जैसे सोडा और शुगर, उसको बोलते हैं aerated drink. And the person asks you as a part of the member of the meeting, tell me that we have to come out with a drink to beat Coca-Cola and Pepsi. So what should we do? The obvious answers will be the common practices in the industry, that it should taste amazing, sugary, it should be cheaper than Coca-Cola and Pepsi, and it should be in larger quantity than Coca-Cola and Pepsi. Yeah, tasty, price should be less, and quantity should be more. Common answers आएंगे. एक ड्रिंक है जिसने एग्जैक्टली अपोजिट किया. सो दे फाउंडेड द कॉमन प्रैक्टिसेस and did exactly the opposite of what Coca-Cola and Pepsi is doing. And that drink tastes disgusting. I have tasted it. It comes in smaller tins than Coca-Cola and Pepsi. And the price is 3 times more than Coca-Cola and Pepsi. You know which drink I'm talking about? Red Bull. And they challenged the status quo, and suddenly they got a different market. I know everybody doesn't drink Red Bull as common as Coca-Cola and Pepsi. In fact, they are not compared with Coca-Cola and Pepsi now. It is, I drink Red Bull only when I have to do night driving. Although I avoid night driving, if there is no other way out and I have a risk of sleeping off while driving, which is very dangerous to my life, I buy that 1 tin of Red Bull. It has a huge kick देता है, and then नींद ही नहीं आती मुझे, पूरी रात नींद नहीं आती. It's an energy drink. स्पोर्ट्स लोग लेते हैं, स्पोर्ट्समैन लोग. टेस्ट इतनी खास नहीं है उसकी. Yes, it is for 300 rupees one tiny stupid tin. Okay. Now you understand the common mistakes people do, and then they hit a plateau and they don't grow. They are lost in the daily nitty-gritty, deep discount, early bird discount, क्या? Out of stock, last stock है, जल्दी ले लो. These are all short-term manipulative strategies. अभी वो बाटा ने शुरू किया था कुछ 20 साल पहले कि वो ऐसा 199, 299, 399. In those days it must have worked. अभी हमको पता है 199 we by default read as 200. वो तो पहला था ना कि 199 मतलब it is in 90s. 200 दिमाग में नहीं आता होगा. अभी इतना we are so exposed to that 199, 299, 1999. We read it as 2000. It is not going to work. So anything which is very common, don't use it. So early bird discount, deep discount, season discount, वगैरह. these things are not going to work today. Advertising has become less effective nowadays. पहले के जमाने में एड्स के बारे में हम डाइनिंग टेबल पे डिस्कस करते थे. मैं, मेरे डैड, मेरी माँ, मेरी बहन. धारा एड वाज सो फेमस. अभी एक भी एड याद आती है कि आपको? Because the sheer number of advertisements are so much, right, that we don't pay. There's an attention deficit. अभी आईपीएल में इतना मतलब उनके जर्सी पे इतने लोगोस थे कि एक पे भी ध्यान नहीं जा रहा था. Right? The only I know is the sponsor was, I think, Tata IPL. क्योंकि हम बोलते हैं टाटा आईपीएल. अदर स्पॉन्सर्स तो मुझे ध्यान ही नहीं जा रहा था मुझे. Right? So much of clutter on the ground. वो बाउंड्री पे स्पॉन्सर है, जर्सी पे तो they were looking like clowns. All the players looking like clowns. इतने कलरफुल लोगोस, ये लोगो बाप रे. ऐसा लग रहा था कि लोगों की दुकान चल रही है, प्लेयर नहीं चल रहा है. So when there is too much of it, don't go for it. And so when I understood that एक तो मुझे सब कुछ फ्री में देना है, and if I have to pay for advertising, तो मेरा bankruptcy guaranteed है. Right? So instead of going into advertising, so what is the purpose of advertising? To talk about your service. So I thought instead of talking about my service, I'll start serving. तो जो भी मेरा marketing budget है, वो उतने पैसों का I will give my service for free, so that more people will come to know. So simple. For example, Anand Kumar. जिसपे सुपर 30 की मूवी बनी थी बाय ऋतिक रोशन, लेड बाय ऋतिक रोशन. नाउ व्हाट इज ही डूइंग? ही इज अ टीचर, आईआईटी के स्टूडेंट को सिखाता है. बट ही इज नेवर कंपेयर्ड विद महेश ट्यूटोरियल्स and other coaching classes. Why? Because he just started serving people. He never had to advertise. He took 30 uh, most poorest students and started teaching them selflessly. See how he delayed his gratification. Now those 30 students, जिसके उन्होंने, he has put his blood, sweat and tears and made them pass out their IIT entrance exams. और वो जब गूगल, माइक्रोसॉफ्ट, इन्फोसिस में जॉब लगेगी उसको, एंड देन इफ आनंद कुमार सेज कि थोड़ा क्लास को अभी रिनोवेट करना है, थोड़ा अभी ग्रो करना है हमको, तो थोड़ा हेल्प करोगे क्या? अरे वो स्टूडेंट्स जान देंगे, पैसा क्या, जान दे देंगे ना उनके टीचर के लिए. वही महेश ट्यूटोरियल जब बोलेगा तो करेंगे. महेश ट्यूटोरियल 1.5 लाख दो अभी, फिर क्लास में आने का. इनफैक्ट आई वॉज इन अकेडमी वेयर आई वॉज अ टीचर एज टू सी ए स्टूडेंट्स, where एक बच्चे का इंस्टॉलमेंट नहीं हो रहा था, they did not allow him to attend my class, and I resigned on the very next day that I don't want to work here. And then I started all the guys and girls who were not able to afford the fees, I started teaching them for free. And then वहां से मुझे वो बाहुबली and all everything happened, that I came to that I'm a good teacher. And then why teach only debits and credits? Why not teach Linchpin? All right. I think I have covered most of the points which I wanted to share. Yeah. If you let's now that you have understood that how to stand out as an employee or as a business, let's talk about your businesses, your professions, and let's think loud. I'm not sure whether we'll be able to find a solution immediately, but what's harm in discussing? Because I have shared all my ideas now, that how I tried to stand out, why I am not compared with any other app developer, why I'm not, although I have developed an app, I'm not compared with Swiggy's and Zomato's and Ola's, right? बुकलेट गाय का अस्तित्व बुकलेट ऐप के बाहर ही बहुत बहुत बड़ा है. So somebody wants to discuss about your profession or business, and let's try to find some linchpin solution for it. How can we challenge the status quo in your industry? Sumit is a fitness trainer, and we have already discussed.
Yeah.
Start the bus service.
No.
Trust me.
No.
It'll work.
No, I want to discuss something. As you know that I'm finding my why and what I'm good at. So I was reading article 2 days before about what I'm good at, and I always talk myself ki what I'm good at. I'm good at in fitness or how, I don't understand exactly. So I come to know that the author was saying ki whatever you do or you lost in that, you don't know the times or kind of thing. So it's happened with me when I talk about motivations, when I talk about to people do these things in that way. So it's kind of motivations, uh, it's kind of to guide them, or what my experience to share with them. So in these situations I don't remember the times. I don't know that who's front of me. I'm just talking and lost myself. So I feel that might be this is my why, or I'm a good at this.
Okay.
So fitness is another because I started as a fitness instructor. I did certification, and I do in that, and I feel more consistency. It gives me what I'm good at. But generally, I feel myself now I'm good at in talking to people and motivation.
Perfect. Now what you have to do is, अभी देखो मोटिवेशनल स्पीकर, इन्फ्लुएंसर, लाइफ कोच का इतना बम्बार्डिंग हुआ है. इट्स एन अपॉर्चुनिटी फॉर यू to find out the most common thing that most of the motivational speakers are doing.
Yeah.
All right. ऐसा क्या कॉमन चीज है जो वो नहीं कर रहे या कर रहे हैं, and do the opposite. Now, for example, although I'm not a motivational speaker, I hate to be called as a motivational speaker. But I'm in touch with many people, people like Ankur Wariku, Kunal Shaha. Most of them prefer to, when they are invited, they must be invited from across India, across the world. They pick and choose only the elite metropolitan cities.
Mm.
All right, Delhi, Bangalore, Mumbai, बड़े बड़े कॉर्पोरेट से जो इन्विटेशंस आते हैं वो है. I decided I'll go to rural India. वहां पे सब चकाचौंध है. मतलब मैं जाता हूँ, मैं बड़े बड़े कॉर्पोरेट्स. आई वाज मर्सिडीज हैड इनवाइटेड मी लास्ट वीक इन चेन्नई. आई वेंट, बट आई आल्सो से यस टू धुले, नांदेड़ एंड स्मॉल स्मॉल विलेजेस इन बिहार. नागपुर में अभी मैं वर्धा में जा रहा हूँ. नाउ आई चैलेंज द स्टेटस को. Where people are अवॉइडिंग कि चल ना उधर क्या म्युनिसिपैलिटी स्कूल में जाके वो गरीब बच्चों के बात करने से क्या इतना बड़ा होने वाला है, राइट? बट
True.
यू नेवर नो, इफ यू डू एग्जैक्टली द ऑपोजिट ऑफ व्हाट मोस्ट ऑफ द पीपल आर डूइंग, you will become the linchpin. This is just an example. Start studying. जैसे मैंने content creation का बोला था.
Yeah,
Everybody is
yeah,
showing that
yeah,
it is their original content, but underlying nothing is original. सब एक
yeah,
दूसरे
yeah.
का कॉपी कर रहे हैं, गूगल कर रहे हैं,
Copy करें.
चैट जीपीटी आ गया
True.
है. सो अभी तो खेल ही खलास है, राइट? So think over it. We'll get back to it again. All right.
Yes, yes, yes,
Riti,
yes, yes.
I think, wait, Riti, before you, let's ask Anand. Anand, I think Anand has never spoken to me. So,
Hi, Amrut.
yeah, hi, Anand. I love your smile. Tell me.
Yeah, thank you. The question is regarding see, I just try to visualize my life in next 30 years. So one thing is clear that I am going to do the job. That is for sure. So one clarity is there. Now the second clarity is like, the point is like I need to develop knowledge, skill, and capability to become, let's say, CEO at the age of my 50 or 55. Okay. Now the point is, the challenge is how to build a discipline by 365 into, let's say, next 30 years by doing particular set of skills, knowledge, and capability to be able to fulfill my aspiration. The point is, one is purpose, another one is the skill, knowledge, and capability I need to develop, or the perception at job I need to develop so that I will be successful, let's say, down the line 20 to 25 years.
आनंद, आपने बहुत बड़ी बात की है. ओके, मैं इतना बड़ा बड़ा नहीं सोचता हूँ. टुमारो इज मंडे. यू आर गोइंग टू ऑफिस. एवरी डे आई गो टू ऑफिस टू बिल्ड रिलेशनशिप्स, to do something good for Farid, do something good for a booklet friend who is going to meet me tomorrow. See, it's all about people. Your customers are people, your suppliers are people, your stakeholders are people, your shareholders are people, your bosses are people, your top management are people. Matlab, even dog's food is not bought by the dog, it is bought by human beings. It's all about people. And what, because of this too much of evolution, we, now that I've talked about all these categories, customers, वगैरह, but the underlying is people, right? Right. So
Yes.
how you talk to your mother at home will also impact how you treat your customer in office.
Oh,
Got it? Because it's all about people.
got it.
See, whatever you said right now was about career, office, skill set. But सब कुछ एक है. Life is one integral whole. You can't be right in one department of life while being wrong in another. Okay, you can't keep your bedroom desk or bedroom bed messy and cluttered and try to pretend to keep your office desk clean and tidy. वो character दिख जाएगा. Are you getting my point? See, cause या ikigai मतलब लोगों को लगता है कि it has to be life changing, larger than life. No. You know what was my yesterday's ikigai? My jijaji's IDBI bank account. He's an NRI account है उनका IDBI में, which is in India. उनका KYC update करना है. That was the ikigai for me on Saturday. It was that simple. Because he's close to me and he helped me during my lowest points of life. He's God to me. It was the ikigai for me to stand up for his request. It's that simple. But no, we we don't like to talk these basic human values like humility, helping each other, jhoot nahi bolna. We like to talk about blockchain, AI, machine learning, driverless cars because that looks so cool, है मैं गलत नहीं, वो सब गलत नहीं है. But let's focus on what's not going to change for next 1,000 years. If I smile to you, you are going to smile back to me for next 1,000 years. You will never feel offended if I smile at you, right? Right?
Yes.
वो कभी नहीं चेंज होने वाला है वो. Right? अगर मैं तुमको गाली दूं तो तुमको गुस्सा आना ही वाला है. That's not
Yes.
going to change ever. Right? So I worked on that. And last week, one person asked me that you never use that F word, never, even in your talks or even in your offline life. I said, what kind of question is that? I mean, but then I thought that no, it is my moral duty to answer that question. That, everything that comes out of your human body stinks. Your sweat stinks, your saliva stinks, your mucus stinks, yeah. Everything, blood stinks, kaan ka dirt stinks, everything stinks. And the only thing that comes from my mouth is in my control. It's up to me whether it should stink or not, my words.
True.
Right? And words that come out of my mouth represents my mother, my upbringing, my culture, my family, my state if I'm out of Maharashtra, my country if I'm in a foreign country, then I might as well use it properly. Just because people are using that F word as a verb, as if the sentence is not complete without that F word. The stand-up comedians think that वो ऐसा बीच में गाली देंगे तो पंच आता है और laughter आता है. But then, who is the richest stand-up comedian in India? Kapil Sharma.
Yes.
He has a decent light comedy, family-oriented comedy. He never uses these words. So why take these small role models when we have an option by just a click to get the biggest role model? If you want to become a stand-up comedian, take Kapil Sharma as a role model. He never uses F words and galis. But all those chote, they are using galis to get a laughter. So वही level पे रहेंगे. Now, this is what I do. Again, if F word is common everywhere, I will not use it. And I try to become a linchpin. अपन लोग ये असली कलयुग है कि कि not drinking is normal. I mean, when people look
Yes.
at me as an animal in the zoo, you don't drink. मतलब you drinking is abnormal. Not drinking has become abnormal. मतलब ये actually कलयुग हो गया है अभी. Right? If something I know is very harmful to my body, why should I put it in my body? Simple. Right?
Thank you.
Welcome. All right. Anybody else? I think there are many hands raised. Now they've gone down. And Sumati. Sumati, you want to say something? Okay, it's already 8 past 5 minutes. Yeah, Sumati.
Hi, Amrut.
Hi.
Is it audible? So first of all, I got an idea today. You told one thing, passion is person-oriented. I agree with that. Still I have a question, how I become a teacher? Because in my school days, I don't have that idea to become a teacher. But that situation make me like this. So your topic, that passion is person-oriented. It gives me an answer for that. Thank you, Amrut, for that. And then you also told another thing. If you serve everyone or anyone, it will make you to one point. That is real in my life. I think in 2020, I started my classes for my students. My place is not a city. This is a small town.
Good.
So I started serving for poor students. Now I charged for other rich students, but I have only one thing, that is at least 4 or 5 poor students in my class without any charge.
Wonderful.
So I think that is the secret of my success, because I don't have any advertisements, Instagram, Facebook, no. So but still I am standing. That is because of that service. So everyone should do that. I want to tell this thing.
I'm
That's
so proud.
why
I know Sumati personally. And I think the kindest teacher I've ever met is Sumati. And she puts her heart and soul to teach the poor. I could not meet you in Chennai when I was in Chennai,
Yeah,
but
sorry for
I
that.
will meet you. Yeah. Varsha, you want to say something?
Yes, hi Amrut.
Hi.
So I just want to share one experience which happened with me. You have given the example of Nitin Kamath of Zerodha, right? So project of Zerodha, wherein I was conducting assessments of all the employees of Zerodha. One thing I found very common in each employee is like whether the employee is 1 month old or 4 year old or 10 year old with the company. So everybody was so much satisfied with the company. Like everyone was taking the name of Nitin Kamath in the interview. Like everyone, I asked one person, why don't you look, the new job or the other job as you already spent so many years over here. So the person said that the way he treats us, nobody wants to leave the company. So even when you say that the person gives a good service to the customer, it indirectly impacts to their employees also. So when we say job satisfaction or the employee satisfaction, it again, it's a circle. So customer satisfaction as well as employee satisfaction. Therein, where I think the person is one, Nitin Kamath.
Super. Super. To sum it up, the primary
I've never
responsibility.
seen any company. I've worked with multiple companies, but I have never seen such kind of the high level of satisfaction, the work satisfaction in any company, any MNC.
Super. Super. I think is an excellent example. I mean, and it's the best example that a pure money-oriented business like stockbroking, if person can bring an epic meaning and calling or a higher purpose in that, in any damn business, then now I can say it with 100% confidence that your what is not important, unless you are selling drugs, narcotics, and alcohol, where it is very difficult, to bring a higher purpose. But then, as long as the business is legal, or it's not breaking the moral laws of humanity, I think we can bring a higher purpose. And what bigger example? See, I always, as I said, I take the biggest examples. My biggest marketing strategist, who is he? Mahatma Gandhi. Now, someone might take it an insult to call him as my marketing strategist, but I studied him so thoroughly. I've read more than 120 books by Gandhi, on Gandhi, and that he sold nothing, and he just stood for two stupid values: truth and non-violence, and non-cooperation or civil disobedience. And because he's the most sought leader in the world, okay, ठीक है, I know most of my friends, and आजकल गांधी जी को गाली देना fad हो गया. I don't care about it. But if I have something to learn from him, I will learn. And literally, I have used his strategies. That is his why. I mean, he spoke only about his why: truth and non-violence. Right? In fact, उनके what तो हमको पता भी नहीं क्या है. It could be Anshan and Dandi Yatra or civil disobedience. This is what. But he always spoke about his why. And so much of clarity he had about the importance and power of why. Right. And so does Nitin Kamath. So stockbroker and father of the nation has something in common. Right. So
True.
good observation, Varsha. And I insist all of you to watch his interviews, and you'll come to know that we are speaking the same vocabulary. You'll come to know. And a person who is on mission make India read and a pure stockbroker has something in common. You can come to know very soon when you're watching.
Sir, I am a QMAT teacher. That's an online platform where we teach kids maths. So I wanted to know that can there be something that I can do to become a linchpin in my work?
You are a math teacher. You teach online.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, we can think over it. So, as I said, these are the underlying principles. Now go and check what all the math teachers are doing. Yeah, I think I gave example of Anand Kumar, why he stands out as a teacher. Yeah. Let's think over it. Let's be in touch. I'll also, give some ideas.
Sure, sir. Sure.
Yeah.
Hi, sir.
Yeah. अरे सर मत बोलो यार.
Sir, I am a renewable energy student now learning a digital marketing, and I want to stand for the higher purpose of a climate change.
Okay.
How can I solve the climate change problem through my marketing and advertising skills? So how to walk on this path? How can I make this possible, and how can I stand for this a higher purpose to make India green?
Wow. I think climate change itself has an inherent higher purpose. So I think we should be the change that we wish to see in others. Charity begins at home, and so whatever green steps you can take at home, you should start and then inspire people. Like Sushil and I did one thing where Sushil, this will also help you to give an idea. Sushil, so he's an aspiring social worker and a politician. So we are working together, and I'm mentoring him. We came out with an idea called Jaducha Kapat, magical wardrobe, and a simple poster there that I have more than necessary clothes in my wardrobe. So I've kept some excess ones in this magical wardrobe, which is just beneath my building outside the fence. And it's an open wardrobe, no doors. Okay. And people have started keeping their own excess clothes. Anybody who is in need can take away the clothes. The simple. And there is no preaching. The instruction board says that माझ्याकडे गरजेपेक्षा जास्त कपडे होते म्हणून मी थोडे कपडे ह्या कपाटात ठेवले जेणेकरून ज्याला गरज आहे त्याला ते कपडे मिळो. दॅट्स ऑल. तुम्हीही असं करा हेही वाक्याने लिहिलंय. जस्ट प्रॅक्टिस, डोंट प्रीच. And it's now the cupboard is overflowing, and there is some lady who takes away, maybe she's reselling. We don't care because she's a needy person. She lives on the footpath right next to my house. So the purpose is solved. So, Navneet, now the problem with climate change is that it is completely invisible.
Yes,
It can't be measured in numbers. That's the problem. And it is very slow. But we all know the problem is real.
yes,
Right?
sir.
So let's come out with something which will help us to make it visible, maybe bring some numbers into it. And the best thing is to be the change you wish to see in others. Start practicing, and then your neighbor will notice it. Then your society members will notice it. Then the societies in your neighborhood will notice it. And this is how it will spread across the country. Okay? You should not just put posts on social media and do this, do that. मैंने बहुत लोग ऐसे देखे हैं. आई नो मेनी योगा इंस्ट्रक्टर्स ना, दे कम टू मी एंड कि अभी मैं कौन सा स्ट्रैटेजी करूं, अभी मैं क्या सिखाऊं, एंड दे देमसेल्व्स आर नॉट प्रैक्टिसिंग योगा फॉर वीक्स. यू आर नॉट नेवर गोइंग टू ग्रो. Always tell them. Whereas there is my yoga teacher, she was offered 2 lakh rupees for 1 month by the manager of ICICI Bank. She said, no, there are too many batches now. तो मैं खुद का practice कब करूंगी? So I can't take you. And that's why I was wondering, why do I respect her so much? Because she practices yoga at least 4 hours a day. उसका पसीना ना किचन तक चला जाता है. She goes into highly meditative state, and no wonder for me she is the best yoga teacher. And she has limited students, very limited students, but are ready to pay any amount of fees to her because she's not interested in teaching more and more people. She gets more and more students. Right? And that's it. And her household expenses are being taken care of easily. There are 2 types of yoga instructors who are my friends. And one is only preaching, not practicing. And one is only practicing, and then teaching is happening automatically. Right? You will come to know, if I stop reading for even 2 days now, you will come to know. You will see that half-heartedness. You will stop respecting me. The only thing I know that does not become, which will never be part of my to-do list, will be reading. कि वो skip होगा ही नहीं कभी, even at the cost of my workout. Yeah. भले ही वो 4 पेज तो 4 पेज, I will read, because only that will gain respect for me from you. So as I said, never preach, only practice. In fact, if you practice and preach, then that preaching is authentic. And so when Gandhiji always used to say that my life is my message, I used to find this statement very arrogant. "Itna kya hai? My life is my message." I was a child in those days. But now I realize, no, what he meant is, जो मैंने किया है वो देखो, मैं जो बोल रहा हूँ वो मत देखो. My life is my message. And he actually did what he said. So when there is zero gap between what you are and what you appear to be, then you become Mahatma. But it's a rare value. Now, we see hypocrites all over us. Right? So, just practice पे focus करना है. You don't have to work hard on your job. You have to work hard on yourself. Okay,
Sure,
let's.
Sir, I get your message. First, I need to bring the changes that I want to see in the society, that I have to inculcate in myself.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
अभी क्या अभी देखना कि किचन में जाके am I segregating wet garbage from dry garbage? That is the first step towards green earth. Simple.
Sure, sir. Thank you so much.
Welcome. All right. Thank you for joining on a Sunday evening. Binal is waiting. Sorry, Binal. I kept you waiting.
Thank you, sir, for such a great session. Learned a lot
सब
from
लोग
you.
मुझे सर क्यों बोल रहे हैं? Binal, you are my close friend.
Yeah, but for me, it's a respect. So I always treat you as a sir and a mentor. So yeah, because of that.
Okay, tell me.
Sir, now मैं काफी टाइम से देख रही हूँ, people are going into a lifestyle crisis. Lifestyle crisis मतलब Instagram पे ज्यादा stories डालना, दिखावे के लिए सारी चीजें करना, and मतलब ये सारी चीजें I'm watching it from long. तो book reading and ये भी मैं inculcate करना चाहती हूँ. So what I feel कि at least वो if they are using 500 for a pizza or drinking or anything, तो वहां पे कहीं पे अगर उनका कहीं पे इस इन्वेस्टमेंट्स पे या फिर बुक रीडिंग पे और हायर पर्पस पे अगर थोड़ा बहुत ग्रोथ के लिए अगर दे आर इन्वेस्टिंग एंड दे आर यूटिलाइजिंग इट, तो इट वुड बी गुड एंड ग्रेट एंड इट ये स्प्रेड अगर हो जाए मैसेज, तो ये कितना अच्छा हो जाएगा. इंडिया वुड बी वन ऑफ द डेवलप्ड कंट्रीज एंड एटलीस्ट वो ग्रोथ के इस पे आ जाए. तो मैं कुछ ऐसा गेमिफिकेशन मॉडल चाहती हूँ और इसमें कुछ एंटर करना चाहती हूँ कि लोगों को डायरेक्ट ज्ञान दिया जाए तो नहीं समझ में आता. तो इनफैक्ट अगर इसको मैं गेमिफिकेशन मॉडल पे या फिर कोई क्विजेस के जरिए या उस जरिए से अगर मैं उनको ये चीज समझा पाती हूँ, इट वुड बी ग्रेट. आई डोंट नो हाउ टू स्टार्ट विद इट.
Good idea. Good idea. I can think over it. Yes. Sure. It's a very good food for thought. We can discuss over this in length.
Sure, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir, for always standing beside me for whatever the great ideas. All this is because of you, sir. I have never started a reading book or any idea before it. So 5 years long back, like I got a message from a friend that this guy is doing something and a WhatsApp message. So it started with that, and after that the momentum came, and it really changed me. The changed approach in everything, in every situation. Now I think before whatever I do. So instead of Netflix and all, I used to get into the books. Okay, kuch gyan mila. Okay, that is also necessary. I'm using that as well. But yeah, एक अलग ही mindset shift हो गया after reading your summaries and other things. And you are making a super deal in crisping all the summaries together, giving a crisp knowledge in a very beautiful way. And your voice is really awesome. I'm just fan of it. Just loving it.
Thank you. I should declare mission accomplished after your hearing too. Great. So, okay, last story before I call it a day. Again, about the small things which are, I discussed about that how we ignore the character-based skills and focus on technical skills. Yeah. I was invited by Times of India for some shoot. And my reviews come in Times of India regularly, Economic Times, once in a month. So, and all the who's were invited, big authors. Chetan Bhagat was there. And the head of India marketing, Times of India, was getting me introduced to all the people. And he introduced to the first guy, he's Amrut Deshmukh Booklet guy, and he sleeps at 9:30. I said, okay. Then next guy, he's Amrut Deshmukh Booklet guy, and he goes to bed at 9:30 p.m. Now, 2 हो गए, 3 हो गए, 4 हो गए. I started getting irritated, not because my bedtime was getting part of my introduction, but you know what? Because on the very previous night, I had not gone to bed at 9:30. I had gone to bed at 11 o'clock. And keeping silent was making me frustrated because it was as good as a lie. I should have stand up, rise up for the occasion, and speak up that no, it's not that all the 365 days I go to bed at 9:30. It is a norm, but maybe 3-4 days in a month, there are exceptions. I did not say. I regret for that. I hope if he's watching right now, Vinayak Prabhu is his name. I would like to apologize for that. These are the small things we have to take care. So, yeah. So let's try to become the linchpin in our organization or make our organization a linchpin in the industry. Yeah, by doing things differently rather than doing different things. Yeah. So happy reading.